Maybe sometimes I worry that I am too critical about things, too requiring. Um, and it's true, I'm difficult. I'm French. I like to analyze things to death, and uh, I enjoy that process, but also seeking refinement and seeking progress. That's the purpose. So yeah, I see so much more room for the evolution of our craft, and yeah, I think it's human to have concerns when you feel unhappy about how things are, and I have to remember to yeah not expect too much all the time and be patient with how things go. But at the same time, I also know that unless you push at some times, then things don't change. So it's about striking that balance. And certainly, I've probably been too far in the direction of pushing in my career. I recognize, we all make mistakes, and I wish to continue improve myself. So yeah, I'm trying my best. You know what? My inspiration to become a route setter was almost an accident. I became a route setter initially because I could get free climbing in climbing gyms. That was my motivation when I was a student. And then I went down a different professional path. I was a graphic designer for many years. And when I stopped, I didn't know what to do. But then I lived in Paris and I had to make money. And I had this skill that was quite marketable. And I just started doing route setting jobs and realized, oh, actually, I quite enjoy this and I like it. And I was lucky to have some good opportunities. And that's basically how it grew on me. But yeah, it wasn't a dream originally, but I'm happy I found my way here. I actually feel like maybe the things I was not able to achieve as a graphic designer, I was able to complete that sort of creative process as a route setter in some instances. So it's been quite satisfying as a creative pursuit, and I guess the two fields are somewhat separate, but for me it feels quite continuous in the process. World Championships in 2016 in Paris was for me a very like kind of turn point moment. World Championships is like one of the highest level competitions in the world. First of all, at the time, Olympics didn't exist, so that was it. So I was very proud and intimidated to be part of that event. It was also a little bit last minute. I didn't know it was going to happen, so it was a nice surprise. And then it was when it happened, one of the most intense setting experiences I had. Also one that grew me up because I got to work with some of the most talented route setters of the time all together, working at the peak, like working for the best athletes. When people say they want to set for World Cup or they want to set for World Championship, that's what we're talking about. It's like doing those events, setting for the best who are fighting for that one spot is incredible. And particularly memorable for me was the lead team led by Jans Branek. The work that they did on that wall in that arena was like, for me, a new level, a new understanding of how powerful route setting could be. And yeah, it was very impressive to see, yeah, like Jacob and all those incredible climbers. And then of course, Adam, fully in control, fully focused until that moment where he's not at the top, but in his mind, he's such a controlled athlete, he knows he's won. I was there, I saw it with my eyes and on the big screen, and I saw the whole crowd going crazy at the same time. It was seriously, it's like magic. It's the same as, in when you go to see a music show and they sing your favorite song, or it's that powerful, it's like, and I think in that respect, route setting is art, Route setting can be many things, but I think it has that ability to elicit emotion in a really powerful way. And yeah, I think that's what keeps me going, keeps me engaged with it. At the moment, I'm not super optimistic about what's happening in route setting. There's no formal education. There's a lot of Instagram education, which Instagram can be a tool to exchange ideas and inspiration. I'm not going to say I don't use it, but I think it has a bit too much influence. And So I would like to see a bit more development, a bit more support of the root setters, a bit more, and certainly there's like, it has to go both ways. Root setters have to be a bit more professional, continue to be professional because it's grown a lot in the past years. Unfortunately, so has climbing. Gyms are bigger, there's more gyms, the requirements are getting more complex and more complicated. I guess I've always said this, I see it as a design discipline. It's part of the family of like architecture, design, or you have a challenge, you have constraints, and you have to produce something creative on the other side. And yeah, if you want to be an object designer or an interface designer, you can study and you can go to firms and you can learn how to improve. But in root setting, the opportunities are still not there, even at the highest level. And that saddens me. It means many people don't have a chance, and it's particularly challenging to diversity, like which countries, which genders, which personalities are present in the root setting. The people who are there are great. It's just, it's kind of homogenous, and it'd be nice to see a bit more variety, especially when I travel and I see that the potential is there. As I've gotten older, I think I see things differently. Not that it's incorrect, but just my vision and my desires have changed around root setting, and actually not being so constrained and saying, okay, let's look at root setting as an art, as something more abstract, as a means of expression. And it's quite liberating because the expectations of a designer and the expectations of an artist are quite different. And so it helps me to move forward, to just be like, I want to make something that make people feel something today. It's not about getting the grade right or making it look like something or getting a certain movement, but I'm just looking for some idea of a feeling that I might have, and it allows me to advance my root setting. When I think about climbing outdoors, there's so much variety, there's so much freedom, there's so many possibilities. But indoors, the nature of business is formatting things in one way. Everybody has to have these holds. Everybody has to have a system to reply to people why grades are not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yeah, it would be nice to not have that expectation. You just come into a gym and there's just climbs on the wall. Just try stuff. If it's too hard, try something else. It's great that people are pushing grades, but it's not the only way to climb. Thankfully, like, it's a sport you can just do for fun without pushing grades, or playfully, playing with your friends, eliminating on a board, and it doesn't have to be about performance. Yeah, performance and business are putting a lot of pressure on the sporting and creative aspects of climbing. And it would be nice to find more balance. We need the business. We can't grow. Like, my existence, my career was built on the success of this industry. So I'm not dissing that. And in that light, for example, it would be nice if there were opportunities to root set outside of either competitions or gyms. Those are the only two places you can set. And I would like to have a space with more freedom, where I don't have the constraint of like, oh, you can't do this because the customers won't be satisfied, which is natural in the gym. Or you can't do this because the athletes either can't climb it, won't understand, or which is my job at that time. And I'd like another space to express myself as a setter. And that's quite challenging at the moment. I don't really have that. Fortunately, my gym in Australia does give us little windows. But I think maybe root setting could be more interesting if root setters had a bit of playtime, study time. Giving space to root setters is a challenging thing. Running a climbing gym is a challenging thing. I know I don't want to do it, and I give credit to everybody who gave it a shot and is doing it right now. I also think maybe we need to rethink or try and innovate in that space and offer different things to our climbers. I mean, I still love root setting. It's more challenging, but yeah, I don't want to put the drill down. I love it. I love root setting. I guess it's like many things when you advance, when you do it for a long time, progression, like it's true in climbing, progression, the steps are smaller and smaller and take longer and longer. I feel a little bit like that in root setting right now. For me to do new things takes a lot more work. Doing the old things takes a lot less work. I still want to move forward as a setter, as a creative. Then I hope that, I can figure out ways to do that. But we'll see. I'll try my best, and if I can't, I'll step aside and let the next generation who I'm super inspired by. I see inspiring things in climbing and in route setting all the time, almost every day. So I I have a lot of hope for the future of our sport. It's growing. Like even like people, as we grow, things get more complicated, more challenging. We have to manage more things. That's what's happening to our sport. Um, I still love competitions and want to set them. I still love setting in the gym and want to continue doing that. And yeah, so I think we still climbing has a lot to offer.